Je pense que, comme Québécois, je suis assez tanné de ce débat qui est généralement identitaire
Mais la langue
et
n'est-elle pas
électoraliste.
identitaire?
Earlier this month, Prime Minister Mark Carney shuffled his cabinet and chose Marc Miller as the new minister responsible for culture and official languages. Within 24 hours, Miller found himself at the center of a controversy for saying he was tired of the language debate being politicized in Quebec. The reaction from the premier and the leader of the PQ only added fuel to the fire. And joining us now is Minister Marc Miller. Mr. Miller, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Maya.
So first off, just for our viewers, let's take a look as a reminder of what exactly Premier François Legault said the day after you were sworn in.
Puis là, Marc Miller, le nouveau ministre fédéral de la Culture, vient dire qu'il est tanné du débat sur le déclin du français. Quelle honte! Marc Miller, là, c'est une honte pour tous les Québécois. Je ne sais pas comment il va faire pour se présenter dans une activité culturelle au Québec après avoir dit des conneries comme ça.
So the premier there calling you a disgrace to all Quebecers and basically saying he didn't know how you could show your face at cultural events here in Quebec. Well, you were here in Montreal yesterday for an announcement for the cultural sector. Did you feel uncomfortable?
Not at all. I felt great because I'm at home and not going anywhere anytime soon. Whether I agree with him or not, he is my premier, and those comments are hurtful. I've got thick skin, so it is what it is. The reality is, I take no pleasure in having the premier and the head of the Parti Québécois, Paul Saint-Pierre Plamondon, prove me right that this issue, while we're all saying pretty much the same thing, we need to protect the French language, has gotten heavily politicized. And at the federal government, where, to be honest, the federal government hasn't done the best job in the world protecting the French language over the course of history, we actually have done that in the last 10 years and will continue to do so, whether it's amending and reformulating and refreshing the Official Languages Act in my own role as the immigration minister, making sure we increase the number of Francophones coming into the country, now up to 12% of the total immigration numbers, especially outside Quebec, where French language is exceedingly vulnerable, and putting a $4 billion program in a French and a Francophone strategy across Canada is proof of our engagement. So we're kind of all saying the same thing, and it seems like it is getting very heavily. It has and will be, and probably will continue to be heavily politicized.
Okay, so I hear what you're saying about you seeing it as you being on the same page, and there have been measures taken by the federal government to protect the French language. But given the backlash to your comments, would you have said or done anything differently?
Not really. Look, I've said this in these terms. It probably wasn't the best thing to throw a huge body check on the first shift out, back from having been out of cabinet for a few months. But I believe in what I said, Maya. I believe it to be true. And I have a very positive vision of Quebec inside a unified Canada where we can thrive with the French language, where we can protect minority rights, including Anglophone rights, including Indigenous rights, and we don't pick on immigrants. That's a positive vision of Quebec that I think the majority of Quebecers share. And if people disagree with me on that, it's their right, but I just not going to change my views on it.
Okay, if I may, I'd like to switch gears here and ask you about your former colleague Pablo Rodriguez after his resignation as leader of the Quebec Liberal Party this week. He was your fellow cabinet minister in Ottawa under Justin Trudeau at a different time, obviously. What is your take on what has happened to him politically, Pablo Rodriguez?
Look, this is something that's unfortunate because he's a close friend of mine, and I support him personally. I think he's been a contribution to Canadian politics. And this has sort of been a situation where it's been a slow death by paper cuts. And as in his own words, he said he became a distraction. So I think he took the right decision. It doesn't change the challenge that federal Liberals or the Liberal Party of Quebec, two distinct entities, face in an election year in Quebec. And hopefully the provincial Liberals will be able to, and they have an opportunity to gather themselves and present a strong alternative to Quebecers during the next election. There's a limited amount that I, as a federal minister, should be saying publicly, but I am a Quebecer and I will have a voice in the next election and won't be afraid to exercise it. I think the party needs to figure out a way to move on. I'm not very close to the provincial Liberals. That's just the reality of it. But as a concerned citizen, I have my views.
Okay, we will leave it at that, and we will be watching closely in 2026 to see what happens both provincially and federally. Minister Marc Miller, thank you again for your time today, and happy holidays. We appreciate you making some time for us.
Thank you, you as well.